It's another Saturday night with these three assholes. Oh,
you hear
man.
You hear that, Hoofbeast? He just called you an asshole.
With love. Nonetheless, thank you all for tuning in tonight for another edition of Tracks of the Damned. Guilty
Hoofbeast, can we
Pleasures
hear you?
episode.
Can we hear you, Hoofbeast? You having issues?
What's that?
Oh, we lost him.
Ah, shit.
Well, fuck.
Okay, well, man down. Well, I was actually going to say we are legit a week away from Black Mass Friday. So
Yes,
I
we are.
thought we could start tonight before getting into our guilty pleasures as it pertains to metalheads that won't admit they listen to these other things. Let us check out our merch because we might have some deals and steals for you next Friday. Check out our merch at Three Witches. Bitches. From the crematorium to Greater Wall of Sound, made of bones, with the layers soft and barren. Now there is no heart in silence. Someone needs to fire up the rusting dawn. That's right. We have a whole new line of designs for all the killer fucking shows that we have here at Three Witches Entertainment. And you'll have to keep tuning in over the next however many days this week to find out what kind of a special deal that we're going to be running on these. So if you know somebody that loves our shit and wants to support it and wear it, or maybe you yourself, keep tuning in day after day and find out what that special code is. The current one is get 5% off by typing in 1 year.
Yes.
Without y'all, there's no us. And that's why we do this shit in the first place. So feel free to support. And we got our brother Human, the Hoof Beast, back. Don't know what the hell happened, but we will deal with it. Thank you later.
I couldn't hear you guys. Check back in.
That's all right. No big deals. I almost literally lost one of my broadcasts because I didn't plug my laptop in and it died. Kyler, what's up, brother? Glad to have you back with us, as well as everyone watching the show right now. Wherever the fuck you are, share the shit out. Especially, sorry, I didn't mean to get serious on you, but still, share it out, especially on YouTube. Congrats to the Peanut Gallery because our last edition of this show had the most YouTube views yet.
Really?
So that is awesome. Yeah, I was going to tell y'all before the show, but I kind of wanted to keep it a surprise. So hell yeah, those of you out there in YouTube Witches land, thank you for tuning in to our show. All right, guilty pleasures. Now, when we first advertised this, I was interested to see what people were going to think or say. It was kind of interesting. Didn't get anything too fucked up on my end, but it was a couple people were like,
I mean, you know, we all know you put Adele on your list, Reaper.
What's that?
We all know you put Adele on your list.
I ain't afraid to say that.
And Dream Theater.
And Metallica.
Oh, see, now you want me to hurt you. There is no, let me preface it all. There is no fucking Dream Theater. There is absolutely not, ever will be, except for the first 4 records. Fuck off, Metallica. Okay? So that is the way it rolls. All right, let's jump into this motherfucker right now.
All right. Well, I'll start with my probably least guilty one. I'm not guilty in the slightest about liking this
Least
fella.
guilty?
Yes. I'm not guilty
So
at all
you've
about
rated it
being
in
a big
terms of
fan of
how
this one,
guilty it really is. Okay.
but he falls outside the realm of metal, so I thought he fit. And some of it's just pretty poppy. So I'm talking about David Bowie. As I said, I don't feel guilty at all for being a David Bowie fan, but I was getting to the point where like I didn't know what the fuck else to put down, so he made the list.
There is literally legit 100,000% nothing wrong. Whoop, there goes my, okay, drum throne just fucked me up. All right, awesome. Let's try that again. I was going to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with having David Bowie on your list at all as far as any type of guilty pleasure as far as listening. That's kind of what this is all about, because most metalheads probably, we're going abroad here, probably won't say that they're a David Bowie fan. So, I mean, I'm cool with it.
Yep, Ziggy Stardust. And a lot of good bands covered David Bowie songs. And
for sure,
first one that I'm going
Danzig did it.
Did do a cover of David Bowie, and they did a great job with it too.
Hell fucking yeah, man. So, yeah. And all of you out there in the comments section, please don't be afraid to throw your guilty pleasures in there too. I've been advertising that all week, so don't be afraid to let us know.
Absolutely.
We might even highlight it for everyone else too.
Oh yeah. And don't be afraid to tell us that we fucking suck or we need to revoke our metal card or
good luck. I dare ya.
Yeah. Like, as I was thinking of this, I was thinking of those little shit black metal fans who are so narrow-minded, and all that they can handle is old black metal. I mean, don't even dare bring up somebody like Satyricon or even some of the Immortal albums or Enslaved. They can't stand that. How dare you? All what they want is just the total brutal black metal, and a lot of times the real dirty sounding black metal. They don't want to hear even sometimes Dissection or Dimmu Borgir or Cradle of Filth, any of those.
All right, there's a guilty pleasure there from Kyler.
With.
But his first one is actually my favorite because I can definitely get down with that.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know. I'm going to have to start, man. See, I grew up during a time where what my folks listened to influenced me a lot. As a musician, as a listener, as a cognitive listener, just kind of like feeling different types of music. I'm going to have to start with the godfather of soul, James Brown. I know, mind is blown, right? Well, as a drummer, everything is rhythmic. It is feel. It is how such rhythms can incite certain types of emotions. So as a metal drummer, I wanted to combine a little bit of everything because I'm also classically trained as a jazz drummer too, and orchestral. So I kind of took all of that shit and put it together. Whether it be dynamic wise or feel wise. And let's face it, the funk makes you want to get up and do some serious boogie time. So put that into metal and you have groove. Oh my goodness, groove in metal. Yes, people. It's all about the fucking groove. Pantera, hello. So that's my first guilty pleasure. Oh, we got another one. Charlie Parker. Nice. Very cool. Keep them coming, folks. We'll keep highlighting them and, either we'll tell you or that's cool, man. Either way. You can tell us too. You can tell me I'm full of shit. You can tell me that all day. I don't give a fuck.
I say that he has an intensity at times that is similar to what I find in metal sometimes. Like, dude's freaking intense sometimes. Like, he's not any laid back thing. So I could kind of see how people could relate to that. But the groove in his songs, holy crap.
I mean, he single-handedly created funk. I swear. Just any of those tracks, and anything from I Feel Good to This Is a Man's World, or Get on the Good Foot, Sex Machine. Don't tell me that half of us weren't born to that song. So, I mean, just tight. And it was just fucking flowing. And it didn't matter what you were doing. It got you up and doing something. Let's face it. That's why John Bonham played the way he did. He was a huge motherfucking fan of James Brown. So you can see how it kind of has had an influence on all different forms of hard rock, metal, probably even some of the more aggressive stuff too.
All right. Cool choice. So the way that I chose it, oh, good God. Holy hell.
Won't hear it from me, Kyler, I swear.
I played the fifth for the moment.
Genghis has chosen Creed, I believe.
I did, but I swapped them out for something else.
Okay. All right. You like their Christian side.
Oh, that? No, not quite so much.
Kumbaya, my bitch. You were getting down to it. You know it.
So the way
we got a snort. All right.
So the way that I chose mine is I went back and, like I was telling these guys before we went on air, was I could choose all kinds of weird shit that I've got in these CD racks behind me, but
for sure.
So what I chose to do was choose the bands that I really got into and I listened to a lot, and that I've seen a lot of these guys in concert. So my first choice, they did a great cover of Ziggy Stardust, and it is the Bauhaus. And
yes.
Oh fuck yeah! The Kings of Goth? Are you kidding me?
This is volume 1 and volume 2 of the Bauhaus, like one of the first goth metal bands. Man, if you liked these guys and you let a really beautiful like cheerleader girl in high school in the 80s know that you like this stuff, holy cow. Like I was like the bicycle that all of the girls wanted to ride for a little while. Although I was so weird because I was punk. I had really bizarre hair and bizarre clothes and all that. But Bauhaus wasn't the Exploited or Corrosion of Conformity or DRI that I was listening to. But every fucking album, every song on both of these albums, a double album. It's 1979 to 1983. I love, like, really good. And I did get to see him in, like, I think October of 2005, which
Holy crap!
Wow.
They were quite old, and that was kind of a downer. But always loved Bauhaus. Always loved them. That was one of my top high school bands. That was my guilty pleasure in high school, outside of metal and punk.
All right.
I don't know. It's like 80s music itself, whether it was pop or electro or new wave, whatever you want to call it, is timeless. And it literally shows up in every fucking movie ever. Thank you, Adam Sandler. Seriously.
What a great time to grow up in the 80s.
It was. Yes.
Absolutely.
I can say that.
I kind of wish I'd experienced it.
I still have flashbacks.
All right, my next one. Well, we're talking about the 80s. I'll stick with the 80s for the moment. And I'm going with Tears for Fears.
Man, can that one dude lay down a bass line to slap you in the face?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't think there was anybody that didn't rock out to Shout. I mean, of course, their first single was "Everybody Wants to Rule
Wants
the
to rule the
World," but
world.
that was
Right.
a good track too. So many good ones.
But can you name the one that's in Donnie Darko that was just so fitting? Like it fit in with that movie so well.
Was it Mad World?
Yep, man.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't really care for that film. I know, shoot me, but
Ooh, ooh, that movie.
I couldn't get with it. I just couldn't. So I might have missed that. But I mean, I can appreciate that. That's awesome.
My wife and I saw them. I think that was 2005 as well. Right after my daughter was born, we went and saw them. And my wife was upset because the dude who plays bass, I forgot his name now. He was off key a little bit.
Oh no!
Oh, that was totally unacceptable to my wife.
Oops.
But that's one that I had to leave off the list. That I totally wanted to put on there. And they did an album. They had an album come out in like 2000 or 2001, and that album was really, really good too. Really, really good. That's the tour we saw him on. Maybe it was, I think it was like 2001 or 2002. It came out, and then they didn't get overseas for a tour until like 2005. Yeah, great.
Gotcha.
They were so TV and
maybe he practiced more. Took a few lessons. Or studio magic, as we like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, we're in the 80s now. So I'm like,
Yep.
I have so many from the 80s, but it's just kind of hard to get them all on one list. You know what I mean? I would have to say for me, it's got to be Depeche fucking Mode.
Yes.
They started in the 80s. Some people don't realize that because they didn't get real commercial until the early 90s. But there hasn't been a single fucking Depeche Mode record that I haven't enjoyed.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like a blend of actual musicianship. You know what I mean? Like the one guy plays guitar, got the keys and all that stuff. And then, of course, just the badass fucking vocals. Even when they did an all acoustical style album where, they had a drummer, they had a bass player. Of course, the dude was still playing guitar. And then the lead singer grew his hair out and grew a beard. It was like, whoa, all right. That was that song, I Feel You. I love that song. Always will.
I've determined that they're like one of the most covered bands of all time. Like every band I listen to has done at least one cover.
For sure. They influenced all types of people from metal. Rammstein, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Marilyn Manson. He did a cover too.
Yeah, Moonspell did one. Just about everyone I can think of has done it.
It was like smooth industrial. If that could actually be a genre, that's what I would call them. Because they weren't quite pop, but they weren't quite industrial. They were like a mix of both worlds.
Yeah.
And everybody could get with it. And let's face it, everybody knows Personal Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always enjoyed it. And, as many thousands of goth clubs, especially the one I owned 20 years ago, I mean, that was a fan favorite. So.
All right, that's it, Kyler. You really need to be ashamed now. You have Limp Bizkit in your library?
Deleted. Give me your card. Okay. Everyone has had that one Limp Bizkit song that they got down to. Mm-hmm. For most people, they would say, what is it, Break Stuff? Like if they were in a pissed off mood or whatever, they would throw that shit in there. But first record, I kind of, very, very little, kind of got with some of it. That second record, they lost me forever. And it was really because I was a fan of the rap group, which is where they got the DJ from. fuck, what were they called? Their big hit was Jump. No, was it Jump? Yeah, it was Jump. House of Pain.
Oh, okay. House of Rap.
Yeah, the guy who did the scratch records for House of Pain is the guy that they put in with Limp Bizkit. So, it's okay, Kyler. We'll let it slide this time. So I was kind of like, I always kind of dug them because, you know, they were Irish brooding guys from fucking Massachusetts and didn't give a fuck. So I was like, all right. So you got them, and then you add, you know, Wes Borland, who's a great fucking guitarist, man. The drummer was really good too. I never cared for Fred Durst. Sorry. Never will.
Nope.
But the backup band was fucking jamming. I hate Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I never got into Depeche Mode much. My wife did, though. She liked them quite a bit. But there are a few songs that I recognize and that I like that are pretty original, like pretty unique.
I think my all-time favorite would have to be Enjoy the Silence. There's just something soundscapey about it that kind of takes you to another place, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Anything off the Exciter album, I'd have to pick.
Oh, that's a great record.
It is.
Oh, Policy of Truth.
Yeah.
Every breakup ever. You know what I mean? If you listen to the words of that song, it's like, come on, tell the truth.
Policy of truth.
You know you're lying. Such a good track.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, my second one is U2. And
oh, there we go.
3 times, I think. And I could have seen them on the Unforgettable Fire tour, but I chose to go see Maiden with Twisted Sister opening up.
That's
I would have
no-brainer.
too, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, but my album off of that is the Unforgettable Fire. Just when Bono will let it out, and in that album, you can't match his vocals in there. Like, I don't think he could re-record that album again and have it turn out the same way. He just let it out. It was so sincere. But
they have a huge catalog of fantastic shit, so why is it the only song they ever play on the fucking radio is With or Without You?
Yeah, Where the Streets Have No Name.
That one too, sure.
Yeah.
Both equally good songs in small doses. You know what I mean? Don't play it 500,000 times. I mean, they have a catalog that spans what, 3 fucking decades?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they started in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my first introduction to U2 was Sunday Bloody Sunday. And I really dug it, not just because of like it was political, but there was just a lot of fucking heart. It was just great bass playing, great guitar playing. And then Achtung Baby came out and I was like, okay, let's go. I really dug that record. I did, because there was like a lot of Bono fucking created a character for himself. I forget what the name was. And I think the song was called Lemon.
Yeah.
Lemon. I was just like, oh, this is some freaky shit. Okay.
Lemon was on Europa, and
that's right. God damn it. Sorry.
Bono was The Fly.
There we go.
Yeah.
It was that experimental period that I really thought was cool with those guys. But every album after that just kind of seemed like recycled.
Well,
I don't know. That's just me.
I would say, like, I liked Pop. Pop was good. And they had an album that came out, I think, 2015. That was really good from front to back. There were some others that were good, but to me, it was Unforgettable Fire, and they're Ramones inspired. They're kind of punk.
They kind of punked it back up a little.
Unforgettable Fire, they had Brian Eno produce, and so you had a lot of this kind of spacey, out there kind of delay pedal, and using like I could get those effects with a delay pedal, and a wah, where you can hold a note and you can play with it, pull it back and forward, and kind of do that stuff. I used to like that. I used to be able to play a bunch.
Nice.
Yep. U2, guilty pleasure. Still have to go back to them because that's your memories are tied to these albums, especially when you have an album in particular that really blew you away and you listen to it over and over again. I have so many memories, so many girls associated with music and stuff like that.
Your wife's in the back going, "Do you still think about them?" That's awesome, though. Oh, we got another one from the comment section. Steve Miller Band. I actually caught them. I think it was 2010. They were opening up for Journey. Not with, obviously, the awesome Steve Perry, but somebody who could pretty much throw it down just like him, which was crazy. But, it was a bucket list kind of thing for me, and I actually kind of dug it. Steve Miller's all right with me. Not something I would throw in if it came on the radio, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, for sure. It's not something I would jam on the regular, but that's cool.
All right, third one on my list, I'm going with the B-52s.
Oh, love. Seen them. I've seen them at least once. No, I've seen them twice.
Ooh, nice.
Oh man, that's cool.
That is cool.
Now was Bootsy playing with him?
No. But boy, I didn't know that. God, what's the redhead's name? She did a great song with Iggy Pop, like in 1991.
No shit.
Kate Pearson. Oh, I had a crush on her, but I didn't know she's a lesbian, so I didn't have a damn chance. Plus, right now, I think she's 71 or 72. Yeah.
She's that fucking old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
I saw them last time. I think it was 2017. I saw Beef again.
Okay.
And yeah, I love them. I've got one. I got a T-shirt. Yep. That was a hard one I left off my list, but there's so many.
For sure.
I agree. I mean, shit.
Stay with us, Genghis. Don't leave us.
I'm trying.
Who the fuck didn't get down to Rock Lobster? Hello.
Anytime somebody with a really bad sunburn, I start going and I'll start singing.
Oh shit. Man, that song was so popular and it found its way to Family Guy. I forget what fucking episode that was, but it was funny as hell because Peter would just keep going around going, Rock Lobster. Some people, especially, I don't know, maybe the metal gods will also shit on me for this, but I was always kind of a fan of party bands. And when we think of the great party bands of, let's say, the late 70s going into the 80s, how can you not get down every now and again to Van Halen with Diamond Dave? Sorry, never bought into the Sammy Hagar era.
I'm with
but man, that band was nothing short of fucking fun. The first time I ever heard Hot for Teacher, I about shit my pants.
Absolutely.
And it really made you think of that one teacher lady that you were just always like, damn, she's looking like a fucking 12 p.m. lunch. You know what I mean? And I saw the video and I was hooked. Like, and then I saw Panama, and the list goes on and on. Any of the covers they did were fucking fun too. And I mean, let's face it, Eddie fucking Van Halen.
I agree.
Easily one of the best guitarists ever.
Yep. Van Halen was excellent. I had a chance to see them, and it was right before the album 1984 came out, before Jump was real big. All right, cool.
Nice. I mean, he's nothing short of a recovering, I don't know, maybe he's not recovering. He was quite the cocaine guy. But he was just, his voice was great. His charisma as a frontman, I agree with you, Jeremy. Mos Def.
Oh yeah.
One of the best frontmen of all time.
He did a great interview that I listened to in I think it was about 1996 or 1997, and where he talked about how when they were coming up and they had to play covers, he didn't want to do an injustice to the bands who had originally written the song. And so he has a pet peeve, and then I share that pet peeve now with him, because he's like, man, if you're not going to do justice or do a twist on it that makes it different, but it's really good, like, don't just get up there and just kind of flatly do it. It's kind of like when Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, when he saw Heart play Stairway to Heaven.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And
what an emotional moment. Holy shit.
And so, and Robert Plant was basically communicating, because I've also heard interviews with Robert Plant to where he hates it when people cover their songs. He really doesn't like it. But anyways, he loved that. And that,
yeah, it's just too bad old Diamond Dave thought he was bigger than the rest of the band and could just go on and do his own thing.
Yeah.
Well, could have waited at least 10 years before doing that. Fame, fortune, all that bullshit.
I couldn't believe it when they disbanded, because it's like 1984 came out. They were on MTV like crazy with Jump and Pants.
Hot as fuck.
Hot for Teacher. Like, maybe they were like Metallica in 1989 or 1990. They were
for sure.
Nobody, not even the Scorpions, could really compete with them on tour. They were the most.
They were selling the fuck out.
The most difficult ticket to get live. And then goodbye.
Man, that was a damn shame. But still, they left us with an endless amount of classics.
Yeah. All right. My turn?
Yep.
All right. So my band, and I've seen them, I think 3 times, is Fish. And so I really like Grateful Dead as well. I didn't choose Grateful Dead. I like Widespread Panic a lot, but I didn't choose them. So I chose one of the kind of jam bands, and I chose Fish. And the album that I would recommend to you guys who don't know Fish is the first one, which is Junta. This album is hilarious. It has a lot of jazz influence in what they're doing. It's also a concept album, and they're hilarious. Like, they were really goofy, like back when they made this album. But Fish is a great show. Like, I saw them. I think the first time was in the mid '90s, and everybody was absolutely wasted and dancing. And there were, if you go to those shows, the girls they wear these, no bra, of course, and their back
Here it comes.
Their back is totally open. I mean, so titties are flying all over the place in there, and the girls are having a great time, and they don't mind brushing up against you. And what a great unforgettable.
It's like ecstasy without the ecstasy.
Oh. But Trey, the tone on Trey's guitar, he has a semi-hollow, a Strat style guitar that he uses, but I forget who makes the guitar, but it's like a pretty rare guitar to get a hold of. But his tone and his solos, he's not the greatest guitarist. He's not going to shred, and he doesn't try to. But man, the soul and the warm tones in his guitar, it's just amazing. And they had amazing album after amazing album until they hit about, I think it was 2004. And I think the album is called Undermined or Nevermind, and it's awful. It was so flat. And Fuego good. Like, how do bands lose their edge? I don't get it. Like, how do you just start writing shit, Metallica? I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, when we talk about jam bands and how they can like go off and like do this all kinds of, really cool stuff coming out of like any of like their top songs or whatever, and they just kind of feel the vibe and start moving on. Zeppelin was really the only band that could do that, and Black Sabbath, like early Sabbath. You know what I mean? They could do that shit all day long, but not every single one could really pull it off every time. And sadly, cool bands like that, the creativity well just kind of dries up a little bit.
Fish, I think Fish was really tied. Like, their shows were so huge, especially after Jerry Garcia passed away. All of the Deadheads migrated over to Fish. And I would argue that Fish can take a song and jam it out, and it didn't matter so much because everybody was fucking high as a kite or drunk as a skunk.
I don't know. Every hippie band ever, for the most part.
Now these guys are really good though. So if you guys haven't heard Fish, I would check them out. It's definitely one of my guilty pleasures.
I have. I don't know. For me, when it came to like the revival of the hippie vibe or the like late 60s vibe, I was really kind of big on like the Black Crowes, because they did a lot of like pseudo type music like that, especially their second record, and Sleep.
Oh, Sleep! I would argue against the Black Crowes. The Black Crowes are really straightforward blues to me, and I've seen the Black Crowes. I think
that second record though,
was
so much better than the first.
Yeah,
it's like it gave me a taste of it, but then when I heard that one and they were all decked out in bell bottoms and shit, it's like it was total stoner vibe. That record. I don't know why they kind of like petered out of the pool there for a while. I don't know if management just wasn't pushing them as hard or whatever, but man, that second record, that's all I can say.
All right. Well, I think I'm still stuck in the 80s realm here, but that's A-okay.
Not a bad realm to be in, really.
No, it's not. And my next thing is Adam and the Ants. Or Adamant. Either way. My mom introduced me to them when I was like 10. And I've listened to all their shit. And I definitely really enjoy it.
It was kind of really tough during that time because you had Adam and the Ants and Billy Idol all at the same time. It was like, who did you gravitate towards more? I don't know. For me, I was just more of a Billy Idol guy because he had a little bit of that punk vibe, but still was like a crossover. Some of the early Adam and the Ants stuff I really dug.
Hey, someone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, definitely made his mark, during that decade.
For sure.
Yeah, they were popular early 80s, and then they just kind of fizzled out.
Well, not entirely, but
it was the era of the one-hit wonders.
That is true. He actually put out an album in 2014. He's got another one he's working on. He's still around.
You know, isn't that interesting? That was one of the things I was pondering not too long ago, in fact. How many of the 80s era like greats suddenly in modern times are like kind of making a comeback somewhat. So that's kind of cool. As a matter of fact, my wife was just telling me Pink is taking Pat Benatar on tour with her.
Oh,
And I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
that is cool.
I'd
You know
go.
what I mean?
I'd go see Pat Benatar, but I wouldn't want to see Pink.
Oh, fuck yeah, that'd be great. Oh, this is so. Oh, fuck yes. Let's talk about that for a second. Wasp. 40 fucking years, and Blackie can still kill it like he was wearing his leather pants in 1983. I mean, the man looks horrible as shit, but god damn it, the voice is still there. You know, the shows are not as elaborate as it used to be, but man, Wasp. You know, I want to be somebody. Shit, that was an anthem
For sure.
for everyone.
And what song about Texas? I'm blind in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Quite honestly, anyone who goes to Texas probably will end up blind because it just goes on for fucking ever. So I'm not about to get into the realm of the weird. So, you know, the guys always kind of, you know, fuck with me about hating Dream Theater. That's just because there were so many other groups that were better. And quite honestly, if they didn't exist, they wouldn't. So I was a fan of the group Yes. And I particularly because I fell in love with the drummer, Bill Bruford. So he was, you know, as I was coming up as a drummer, I had read that his weaker hand was his left hand, and he wouldn't hold the stick properly. So somehow he was able to turn it into fucking gold. You know, because everybody says there's a right way and a wrong way to hold your sticks and all that shit. Well, old Billy Boy graduated on from Yes into what I call a super fucking band. And that band is King Crimson. King Crimson also brought me to know a guitarist by the name of Robert Fripp. The man is fucking sick. And when we talk about proggy kind of rock, almost kind of metalish, because, you know, there's some distortion with it. No vocalist, not necessary in this case. Doesn't have to have it. Their musical compositions are so fucking intelligent, almost orchestrated in a way like a composer would do. There's no, like, you know, synths and all that stuff, but man, you could just listen to it and just get lost. That's what I love about it.
Interesting comment here in the peanut gallery.
Yes, they fucking do. Yes, they do. They must have been getting down to those fucking records. Disciples. Is that the one I'm thinking of? I think it is. That particular record just fucking blew my ass away. And then suddenly Tool comes out and they have all these odd time signatures and constant builds just on a heavier level. And then, of course, you know, very awesome fucking vocals over top. So King Crimson for me was a huge fucking influence on my playing. I loved Rush. Rush was great. King Crimson took it, I don't know, into a darker realm. Because if you listen to a lot of their compositions, they're not happy sounding. They're not joyful people. But man, you can rock out to it.
A lot of metal bands through time have listed King Crimson as their influences. I know I have an interview with Napalm Death, and they listed them, King Crimson, as yeah, big influence to them. There are several bands that have King Crimson over the years. Yeah, that's a great choice. That's a really cool band.
Yep. That's Jeremy. We went to high school together. Actually, I think we went to middle school together too. Pretty sure. When I was first coming up and wanting to get into a band and stuff, yep, we played together, learning all the Ramones classics. So nice. Yeah, absolutely. Middle too, for sure. I mean, I'm 46. God damn it. A lot of shit from those days were a little bit of a blur for me, but I do remember.
Oh, really? Reaper went and saw Kiss.
Now, that was the Hot in the Shade tour. And the opener was actually a better band. Kix. I don't know if you remember Kix from the 80s. Yeah, definitely the better band of the evening. How the fuck are you older than me? All right. It has all been revealed. Nice. But yeah, for sure, man. That actually doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if there's, some of the more proggy type metal bands, even some of the Gojira and some of the other bands might have picked up some influence there. And the crazy thing is, I don't know, especially during the lockdown period of COVID, where Robert Fripp and his wife started going on YouTube over and over again doing covers of various songs together. It's fucking hilarious. And his wife doesn't seem to care about her knockers showing. I don't understand it. It's been on Metal Injection, I swear to you, for the last year and a half. Every time they pull out a new cover that they're doing together, it's the crazy. You gotta watch it. It's fucking it's like slapstick comedy with music. I particularly enjoyed their cover of Crazy Train. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Yep.
Another band that's brought up as a big influence are the Swans. So I'm curious to see if anybody brings up Swans. For a lot of metalheads refer to that. All right, my next one, which is the fourth one, is The Cure.
You bastard. I was about to say The Cure.
Yeah. So, but and I would say, Fascination Street was really cool. I like that one. Boys Don't Cry was very feminine, but man, girls loved it. The girls loved Bauhaus. The girls loved The Cure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, if you liked them at least a little bit, I would say I kind of faked it in high school, but when I got out of high school, they had the Mixed Up album that had Fascination Street and a Forest. What were some of the other? Lullaby. There's so many good songs, but I really liked the Mixed Up album. If you haven't had that one, it's a really good job at kind of a little bit of a different take on their classic songs. And really,
yeah, I can always remember their biggest hit was Picture of You.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't a girl within a 5-mile radius that didn't know that song. And that brings up a really kind of a big point. A lot of people didn't realize that goth was a thing until Typo Negative and Marilyn Manson.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think I have to argue
happening. Huh?
I think I have to argue with you about their biggest song. I'm pretty sure it was Friday I'm in Love.
Yeah, easily, definitely, probably just as big, if not, bigger than that one. But I just remember everyone I ever knew that song. And that was like the only song they ever knew by them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just one of them songs that really stuck in people's heads at that time. It was a strange time. It really was.
I was talking about doing this with my wife, and she said, we saw them. I said, yeah, it was July 7th in 2005. Oh, great, Kitty. And she's like, I don't remember that at all. But Robert Smith had put on quite a bit of weight, and he kind of hid behind a guitar. Awesome.
I'm dead.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sorry to steal your thunder with taking The Cure first.
That's okay. My next one,
Wait, one other point I wanted to make about
Okay.
them. Their fucking guitarist can really get down and play. He's really, and live, he really played. Like, you don't hear it so much on all of their kind of pop songs that hit the charts and all that, but that dude can play. Just wanted to say that. And Robert Smith stands up with a guitar, but he's kind of just posing with that guitar. He might strum a chord here and there, but he's kind of like Bono. When Bono grabs a guitar, I'm just like, please don't. There's yourself. Yep.
It was like that one time Anthony Kiedis of Red Hot Chili Peppers was on some award show playing "I'll Give It Away" was the song. And he had a guitar and was strumming the fuck out of it during the guitar solo. I'm like, dude, you literally look like you're fucking jacking off. Stop it. Fucking stop it. It's like you could have left that space. Just don't do it.
All right, my next one, I am going with the Beatles. I fucking love the Beatles. I've gone through phases where that's all I listen to.
I'm not mad at you. All right.
I saw Paul McCartney a bunch of years ago, and he played a bunch of Beatles songs, which was really good to kind of see that.
Wasn't he kind of the mastermind behind most of their songs?
I would have to say so.
I'm pretty sure. Hang on.
Everyone fucking says like John Lennon was like, I don't know, the second fucking coming, but I really think it was the collaboration between the two of those guys. And let's face it, George Harrison was a badass guitar player for his time.
A lot of people talk about the way they structured their songs, and it was based in what they did with the guitar. Definitely wasn't a shredder, but really amazing song merchant.
Absolutely. Now, one of the bands I have on my list actually goes really well with this as a follow-up. Because the one band that I always got down to was the band that came after the Beatles. And love them or hate them, and their guitarist is a vampire, the Rolling fucking Stones. I always dug more than the Beatles. Everything from Honky Tonk Woman to Satisfaction, Sympathy for the Devil, all those fucking tracks were bad fucking ass to me. I don't know. My dad played them a lot as I was coming up, and I had a chance to hear the both of them. I was like, oh, the Beatles are so fucking happy, but the Rolling Stones are like, fuck, 6 drums of rock and roll. I'm like, all right, cool, man. I can get with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. There was just something a little bit catchier. It's not that Mick Jagger was like the best singer in the world or anything like that. It was just, I don't know, the music as a whole. It had a lot of soul. It had a lot of blues influence. Muddy Waters was like, their big go-to guy for why they started playing the type of music that they were playing. And it's really evident in a lot of the early goings. But as time rolled on and they played a concert for the Hells Angels, it was pretty clear that they were a really fun band. So I don't know. I had to put them on my list.
All
I
right.
still listen to some of it whenever it comes on the classic rock station,
Yeah, I always like when I watch documentaries and they play the Stones because it really makes me feel like I'm in Vietnam. Like a
Painted Black.
lot of those will play that. Yeah. I never
That was
got
a killer track.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like the song of that particular war, because I mean, let's face it, there was a big Vietnam War TV show for a long time. I forget what the hell it was called, but man, that was the opening track of the show, like the show music. And I was just like, it always got me revved up to watch it.
All right. Well, I think it's the fifth one is Red Hot Chili Peppers. I just saw them September 2nd. Did I steal another one from you guys?
No.
But
I like a couple of their songs, but when they get like real like rappy, I don't like it.
For me, it's which version.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's very few albums of theirs that I don't like. I didn't like their real coked and heroined out Mother's Milk album. I didn't like that one and the one before that, but the first one, the self-titled, I really like that. It has Mommy Where's Daddy and True Men Don't Kill Coyotes. And there were a lot of metalheads that were influenced by Red Hot Chili Peppers. A lot of thrash acts were influenced by them. And I think a lot of it was their stage show, being out in the underwear and just the energy and all of that. But my favorite album out of all of them is Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which does have more. I like the rap stuff that they have, but I really love Flea's bass and John Frusciante's Jimi Hendrix-esque warm, soulful playing. But they need Rick Rubin. If Rick Rubin isn't there,
it all comes back to the Rube.
For years they've had Rick Rubin producing their albums. And by the way, the album that came out in March is outstanding. It's not real sing-along. It is outstanding. The bass playing, and it's super funky. And Chad Smith, excellent. Like the last album and The Getaway that came out in like 2015 or 16, that album is excellent. I didn't like the one that came out in like 2011 so much. That's after John Frusciante had left. And they have another one that dropped like a month ago, and it's not quite as good. It kind of sounds like John and Anthony have more substance abuse issues, and you can tell that they've been through 12-step programs for like many decades, and so they get real spacey and like that. The latest album that just dropped a month ago is more like that. But man, the album that dropped in March, I think they did like 40 something songs, like 41 sons, and so they had to put out 2 albums for it.
Holy shit.
Wow.
It's stunningly amazing. Like I've always loved Blood Sugar Sex Magic, but the last 2 albums that came up are really, really good too.
I've always enjoyed Chad Smith's drumming. Very tight, very funky, powerful. He never really had to like overfill or do anything fancy. It was his grooves that really, made that band. And of course, you stick him with Flea. I mean, Flea easily is hands down, one of the best bassists of I guess you could say the modern era, 90s
Yeah.
till now kind of thing. The guy never really missed a step. That first record, yeah, that's kind of how I got caught onto them. Very high energy, very different, literally from everything else. Now, that's kind of interesting because it's not that I don't like Frusciante as a guitarist, but when they got Jane's Addiction's lead guitar player, that album was more metal.
True.
To me.
It was much more straightforward.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I dug it. I'm not going to lie.
I dug it.
It's just like when John Corabi ended up fronting Motley Crue. It was a whole different band. It really kind of like when you get a big member change like that, it's different. So, and of course, I kind of dug it. I was like, all right, you guys are kind of bringing the thunder here a little bit. And I kind of always liked that guitarist anyway, so I just can't remember his fucking name.
You mean Dave Navarro?
That's it. Thank you.
Dave Navarro, loaded with all kinds of shitty tattoos, but he was critiquing people's good tattoos.
I was going to make a joke about that, and you stole my thunder. God damn it. Shit, he probably sold a guitar to get some of those shitty fucking tattoos that he has. They really are bad, people.
Yeah, I thought.
But any hoozle. So yeah, that's why I said it's like depends on the era because there was good, there was bad, and there was good again, bad, recycled. Seemed like they were trying too hard, and then Chad Smith showed up on Ozzy's record 2 records ago because right now it's patient number 9. It was Ordinary Man. Dude fucking showed a different side of him that I really dug. Yeah. So I'm a fan of the musicians for the most part. There's some really good songs that the Chili Peppers have done. Just can't get down with it. But then again, the radio doesn't help because they don't ever play anything good from them.
Agreed.
I don't want to have anything to do with really like the 2011 album, but all the others to me are well, and I didn't like Mother's Milk and the one that came before that, but all the others are really, really. That's.
I feel that. I really think that Mother's Milk was very overrated as a record.
It's a kind of a messy record. It's real messy. Didn't have a lot of character.
For sure.
But when I saw him, you remember how last week we talked about Danzig and how Danzig sometimes doesn't sing worth a shit. Anthony Kiedis, like I've seen him on watching YouTube videos, and sometimes he can't sing worth a shit. But man, he nailed it 2 months ago when I saw him. He was outstanding. And I was going to be real picky about that, but he was on point. He was excellent.
Nice.
I think there's like a period of time that goes by with some of these titans from the past where they get lazy. They don't practice like they should. I mean, Ozzy's been through it. A lot of the greats have been through it. If you don't practice, if you don't continue to hone your craft, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
That is true. All right, my next one, I'm going quite a bit more modern on this one. A lot of people really don't like that like weird electronic music that's coming out nowadays, but I fucking love me some Skrillex. Hey, if it's got a solid beat to it, I like it.
Korn often gets criticized for their, what is it, Path of Destruction or whatever album that was.
Yeah.
And they get criticized for that, but I enjoyed that. I like Skrillex. Skrillex, but they get really redundant. Like they kind of just overdo it. And it's like I find them having a hard time sounding fresh.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Let's say that. But I remember when that first song came out, I forget what it was called. The one that goes, "Oh my God!"
Yes.
That song is fucking awesome.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Electro style music, I know there's so many different fucking names for all these different artists, whether it's dubstep or fuck my life or whatever the hell they want to call it. If it grabs me, it does. If it annoys me, it does. It just depends. And usually it's like, I don't know. I come from the era of Skinny Puppy. So that's more my speed. Even NoFX.
Mm-hmm.
Like those, that was kind of like my thing. Because you had the Pounding Beats VNV Nation is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know. It was just better art to me. So I don't know. I may have to like listen to a little bit more of that just to kind of see if I can grasp it a little better. I guess you could say. I don't know. If it hits me with a hammer, I dig it. It's just kind of how it goes for me. And then, of course, I'm going to fuck you up with my next one.
Okay.
There are a lot of come from behind frontmen that are in this like mega band, and they leave it and they do their own thing. And sometimes it's an instant success. And then there's times where just, shouldn't have done it. You should have stayed with the band you were with. This guy that I'm talking about, I still get down to the da-dun, 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 da-dun. Everybody knows what drum fill that is. I'm talking about motherfucking Phil Collins. Who is still fucking killing it to this day.
Absolutely.
There was a period where, he kind of fell off a little bit, had a little substance abuse problems, but the man's come back, and he's come back in a big fucking way. But literally for decades, not just the 80s, but on into the 90s and beyond, he has left us with some signature fucking tunes that were dark at times, happy at times, sad, depressing, but the guy is just a multifaceted fucking vocalist who was a drummer.
And some of the
he
stuff
was a
like
drummer. Who would ever think that
done,
this guy would come out from the drum kit and be this like mega vocalist?
Some of the things he's done for like Disney movies and stuff is just so fucking good.
Yeah. I
like
forget
Brother
the name
Bear.
of the, he did the whole soundtrack for one of them, didn't he?
Brother Bear, wasn't it? Did he do the whole soundtrack for that one?
Tarzan.
Definitely Tarzan.
But not even just that, but his songs were, I don't know, so good that they showed up in literally TV, movies. He even got back together with his original band. Oh, God damn it. I'm losing the name. Help me.
Genesis.
Thank you. Okay. Genesis, who was actually fronted by Peter Gabriel back in the 70s. And they were so fucking intelligent and weird at the same time that you couldn't help but dig it, it's almost like it was like Yes and Genesis, like kept going back and forth. But once Peter Gabriel, walked away, Phil said, fuck it, I'll sing.
Yeah.
And what a voice he had. Yeah. You can't tell me that even metal musicians to this day haven't heard him, loved one of his songs, and it's truly a guilty pleasure.
Absolutely.
Now, I know right before COVID, I saw some shows on YouTube with Phil Collins, and he looked like he was at death's door. Has he improved and gotten well? I mean, he was in really bad shape.
Like, I mean, I haven't heard anything.
He was,
how, media likes to jump on these horrible things. You know, you always hear about Ozzy's health. Is he alive? Is he dead? What's happening?
Let's see. Phil Collins played a show in March of this year, claiming it is his final concert, like ever.
Well, you'll have to watch. Look for him.
Shit.
3 years ago, the dude was really.
Oh
he's,
shit! No, he looks like he's dying.
yeah, he's really sick.
Ooh,
Did he
yeah.
catch something or develop a condition?
I don't know.
Like he has like leukemia. He's
Something that he
No
looks
shit.
rough.
yeah.
Because once he got off the sauce, and I think it was one of the talk shows, late night talk shows, you know, one of those, whether it was Jimmy Kimmel or one of those guys, and he looked great. What the fuck happened? In 1 year, he fucking hosed?
Yeah,
Shit.
he's in really bad shape.
Yeah, he don't look good.
Well, I'll tell you what, the rock world, myself included, will be sad the day that happens.
I can feel it coming in
the air tonight.
And, you know,
amazing song. The
Absolutely.
build up in that, and when the toms come in. Oh,
I call that the drum fill heard around the world.
That pocket that he sits in for that song.
Well, and then when you come to find out what the song's about, now you see why it was so fucking powerful. The guy was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Came home from tour, caught his wife, you know, with someone else, and there it is. You get this powerful fucking song.
Yeah.
Woo! Miami Vice would have never survived without that tune. Let me just say that now.
Outstanding.
Woo! Powerful.
Yeah, man. Like when I think of the 80s and I worked construction during the summers, they played Genesis and Phil Collins on the radio all the time. All of the time.
Household fucking name.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how heavy you got into heavy metal, you still got down to some Phil Collins.
Yeah. All right. Can either of you guys name a pretty big band out of the middle 80s, and they came out of New Zealand?
AC/DC.
Are they New Zealand? I thought they were Australia.
Well, it's kind of sketchy. Some of them were from Australia, and the drummer was from New Zealand. That's the first. I don't know why it just stuck in my head.
Yeah, one of my best friends from like when we lived in Saudi Arabia. He's Kiwi, and his wife is Australian. All the kids. It depends on what this situation is. Sometimes they'll claim New Zealand heritage. Sometimes they'll claim Australian. But anyway, my pleasure. And this is an album when I was going through my bachelor's degree that I just listened to while I was making art all of the time. But the band is Crowded House. And
I never would have guessed they were from New Zealand.
And Neil Finn's first two solo albums were fucking outstanding too. I've seen him twice. I've met Neil. Really cool guy. But I love Crowded House. The harmonies that he has when he sings with his brother, and Neil Finn is one hell of a song merchant. He's been often compared, like his songwriting ability has been compared to Paul McCartney as a writer, and very much the lyrically, like really thoughtful writing.
I think that's very fair.
So the album that I would bring up that I listen to the most is Together Alone by Crowded House. So damn good. It's a guilty pleasure. It's like, I can't take metal all the time. I love metal. I love all kinds of metal. But sometimes I need to be a little bit more happy.
Oh, you don't listen to Cannibal Corpse when you're in a good mood.
Yeah.
I feel that. What's up, Babylon Son in the house?
All right.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Favorite dudes, man. That bass he's been playing lately and his Instagram plugs is a monster. And of course, he is the king of tone. The king of
for fucking sure.
hell yeah.
It takes me back to when I first got onto Instagram for Black Tar and was trying to get the name out. And he was one of the first dudes. I saw his shit. I was fucking hooked.
Yeah. And he always has
his album is even better.
Yeah. And he always has Iomi up above. Looking down.
I gotta get that poster. Where the fuck did he get that thing?
All right, my next one. I'm
Dun, dun, dun.
kind of related to your last one, a little bit, Air Reaper. I'm going Mr. or I suppose just Sir Elton John.
Ah.
Don't you know that I'm still standing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it isn't Rocket Man or shit, there's some kind of a remix of one of his all-time biggest hits currently that plays on the radio like all the fucking time now.
Yeah, if I'm listening to the radio, I'm listening to the 80s station.
Tiny Dancer.
Hey, gotcha.
They took Tiny Dancer and put techno beat to it. It's so fucking different to hear it that way because I'm used to the organic way. You know what I mean?
Now.
And it's like people are just eating the fucking hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's a hell of a songwriter.
For sure.
Hit after hit after hit. I mean, you can't deny it. Not something I would play on the regular, but like I said, if it comes on the radio, right. I can get with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, his stuff from the early 70s. I'm more down with that.
Same. It was just really good stuff. If you haven't gone that far back, go that far back. Check it out.
I will have to. I haven't gone that far back.
That's where he really made his bones, was the 70s. He was the one that was being played at all the discos. For sure.
All right.
Excellent stuff. So, my next pick, which since we're in the realm of the 70s, might kind of blow your mind a little bit. As a songwriter, you could almost call him a folk singer as well. Like when we think of the great American folk singers of our time, I mean, he was definitely a hippie through and through, but the man was able to keep his fucking career going beyond that hippie stage and into a even more kind of like fuzzier rocker style as time went on. But Neil Young.
Absolutely.
I have always loved and adored a lot of like Heart of Gold, even some of just his acoustic stuff with just him and his harmonica. Always really, it was like chill music for me, especially like from like 92 to 95. That's when I was really kind of discovering all of his discography. And Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Yes. Who the fuck didn't love that shit? It's like, oh, Papa can fucking rock. All right.
Right. I've gotten down many times to the he did the soundtrack for that Johnny Depp movie, Dead Man.
Right.
I've listened to that quite a few times.
And he was even in once in the super group, Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the, I actually thought he made the group better. There was just something always so honest about
Yes.
his words.
Yeah.
Just totally honest. And you could tell that he really felt what the fuck he was talking about.
Yes.
For sure.
Because there were so many hippity dippity guys, during the 70s and the late 60s, John fucking Denver and all those guys. Neil Young, man, he just put it out to you. He was a storyteller. Yeah. And that's what I really loved about that. And most of those stories were true life shit that he's seen, somebody he knew, shit like that. And I always loved his voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was waiting on you to finish. But that's what I was wanting to say, is that to me, he is the most honest musician that I know of. Brutally frank, no bullshit. Here's who I am. I'm not going to try to pose anything else. That's what I really appreciate about him. And he was one of the ones, I don't know if you remember this or if you caught this, right after 9/11, he played John Lennon's Imagine.
Yeah, I remember that.
He knocked it out of the park. He did a great job because he's so honest, and the way he communicates soulful things like that, important songs like that. So
Absolutely.
Excellent. That will be a sad day when he passes away.
For sure.
For sure.
So many of these people, but what a genuine, I appreciate how honest he is. Yep. When you said that, I was just like, hell yes. Totally down.
Just a poet, really. When it comes down to brass tacks. A lot of people always say, what was that other yokel? Bob Dylan. Yeah. Everyone always says Bob Dylan. I'm like, sorry. No. Neil was so much more upfront with you. He wasn't pushing any agendas or anything like that. He just talked about life.
Yeah.
And how he saw the future.
Leonard Skinner doesn't care for him.
Well, they're not on my list either.
They would be on my wife's list. She loves them. Jesus, I don't know how.
I like some of their songs.
Yeah, I mean they can write some good stuff. I just can't do Leonard Skinner.
You know what? I couldn't either because the Allman Brothers. Sorry, they were better for me.
Me too.
That's fair.
Totally agree.
Greg Allman is a badass. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
I agree.
And Dickie Betts.
Oh, yeah. All right. My next one is a band that they had an album called The Bends that came out. It was really good. And then OK Computer. And I really liked OK Computer a lot. But when Radiohead came out with Kid A, and it was so much electronic, and it was the same time that Björk came out, or maybe it was right before Björk came out with Vespertine, which was really electronic, but in a sophisticated, clever, artistic manner. I really got into them. And I didn't like their last album very much, but a lot of their albums, they had a lot of really good songs, but really innovative, very artistic. They were on Saturday Night Live one time when they played a couple songs off of Kid A, and that was it. Total artist. I don't care that they're not using guitars in a traditional way, and they've kind of pushed away from the guitars, and now they're twisting little dials and stuff like that, kind of like Reaper twists his nipples.
Gotta keep them happy.
I fucking and Amnesiac was really good as well, but I love Radiohead. Never got to see them. I was too broke when they came, and the shows were like $100.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
I don't think I would pay $100 to see anybody.
I paid that much to
To
see
be quite
Rammstein.
honest.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
What number are we on?
This one's gonna be 7
Yeah, this is 8.
or 8. Yeah,
And
this is gonna be 8.
This is 8.
Yep. All right. My next one is 21 Pilots. Reaper, you're over there like, why? They've got some fucking killer tunes. You know, taking my time on my ride. I love that song.
Well, the one thing I can say about them, I mean, they're definitely hit writers.
For sure.
I will definitely say that. They're known for singles.
That is true.
Not full albums, though. And they changed their
I sit and
style
listen to the
so
whole
much.
album, that is
What's
also
that?
true. I do sit and listen to the whole album.
Oh, no, I know you do.
Right.
I'm just saying, but, you know, for like their fan base at large, I think they gravitate more to the, oh, it caught me, I'm there. You won't like go to one of their concerts and see a bunch of people being able to sing along with every song.
I wouldn't go to their concerts anyway. They're horrible live.
And my next point,
I'm like,
that's the other thing. They can't reproduce it live.
As
That's
of
a
like
very
5
big
years ago,
thing
they
for me.
definitely could. And I haven't seen any recent stuff, but I don't go looking for their live performances because I didn't like it.
Which makes it tough for me to get with them. Sure, when you hear it, it's like, okay, pretty cool, you know. But honestly, for 21 Pilots, the thing that fucked me up with them early on was they change up their shit way too much. The songs on the record don't flow from one to the next. It's like 1 minute they're this, the next minute they're that.
That's fair.
I don't know. That's hard for me as a listener. It's like, who are you? What are you trying to convey artistically? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But when I was teaching as a steel drummer band leader, I did use one of their songs, and it's the one that will always stick with me, and that's House of Gold. I always really felt that the message conveyed in that song was very, very good. And it's almost kind of folkish in a way, so I could get with it. And then my students would bring to me another track and go, oh, can we do this one? And I go and listen to it. I go, what the fuck? This ain't going to work because they just went into outer space. So I was like, sorry. It's the only one I can do. All right. So this next one goes way back. Way beyond most of today's listeners probably would even know, unless they heard it in a commercial, a mob movies, if you will. There is a celebrated jazz singer that has always been number one for me in all eras of my life, from growing up as a small kid, Christmas albums, all the way, like I said, into adulthood. I was a big Sopranos fan. Really loved, all the great mob movies of the modern era, Godfather, and stuff like that. But there was one rebel, this guy, truly, truly did it his way. And that would be the late, great Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
Mind is blown. Yes, I understand that.
Not blown, just more of a why.
Really? Okay. I don't know. We talk about memories and how we have things attached to it. For me, it's like a Saturday drive to I don't know, another city back in Ohio, and dad's got it on the radio and just kind of like grooving with it. I'm just a little kid. I don't know, but today I can still appreciate it because the man's vocals are amazeballs. It'll always be a favorite of mine. Guilty pleasure.
I can get it because I'm there with you but I prefer Dean Martin.
And a lot of people do. But then again, I was a big fan of his as well, and the Rat Pack.
And then my daughter really likes Adele. And so I had, of course, driving her around Thailand. And then when we came back in the summers, we were driving for soccer practice all the time, and she wanted to play Adele. And then I really appreciated it. That woman can fucking sing.
I'm a fan. I ain't gonna lie.
I get it.
I grew up in a Italian-Hungarian household. So it was pretty much a staple, especially at family gatherings. And I've always been a fan of big band jazz. I always will be. Ain't gonna lie. Buddy Rich and the All-Stars? Absolutely. John Coltrane, Miles Davis, bring it.
Yeah, I normally stick with jazz guitarists like Wes Montgomery or Grant Green.
Oh, yeah. I can totally appreciate that too.
All right. Well, my one is she used to play with the Sugar Cubes, and sometimes she has some albums to me that she's just way too avant-garde, and I can't relate to them. But her first 3 albums that she did solo, well, no, not the first 3. 3 of the first 4. So Homogenic, was it Human Behavior? I think that was the first album. And then she did Vesper. And I'm talking about Björk. And
she is so much fucking fun.
And that most that I was an artist, and I was represented by a gallery in Atlanta, and I had a studio, and so I'd be up there just painting my ass off into the wee hours. The whole year I listened to Vespertine, and I listened to Tool's Lateralis the whole year. I wore those out. And then, of course, metal. I would consider Tool metal for sure. But I really did, and they have footage from one of her live shows. She used as an instrument something that could pick up electricity, and so she'd go over to the keyboardists while the song was going on, and she took this little rectangular object, and it was measuring something, and it was making music out of the electricity in the dude's spine. So she would just go up his spine with this thing, and it went along with the beat and with the music. She could pull it back and then get it closer so you could hear it better. And she is such an artist, so fucking creative. Did a whole all a cappella. There were no instruments other than voices. And when you would hear it, you would be like, holy cow.
Kind of reminds me of that. What the fuck was that thing that Jimmy Page would fuck with on stage? It's got like a really, almost like an antenna kind of thing. And he would either take his hand or a bow and like do this thing with it. And it would just make these crazy fucking sounds.
Well, the drummer for Fish used a fucking vacuum cleaner.
Ah, okay.
I'm telling you,
the fuck on.
You need to listen to the early Fish. You would like him, especially as a drummer.
Oh, I was there when they were first getting pretty big. So, I do remember a lot of it. I don't know if it was the fact that I just loved the 60s and the early 70s more that I just couldn't get with it. Like I don't know. It was a sound thing for me. I don't know. It's hard to explain it.
Your home,
I should have been like an adult in like 1965. I really should have.
your home to listen to Junta. If you delved into jazz with your percussion, you'll like this.
Nice. Hell yeah.
All right. Now, I am going with a band. Sorry you missed this, Kyler. You asked about it right at the beginning. But if you grew up in the 90s or if you're a 90s kid, even if you claim to hate them now, no. Shut your ass up. On the school bus on the way to school, you were singing along to songs like Photograph. And I'm talking about fucking Nickelback. I love me some late 90s, early 2000s Nickelback. I know fucking all the songs. I grew up listening to them. I am not ashamed to say I like old Nickelback.
Wow, this is like you're coming out of the closet.
I've already done that a couple times, but anyway. No, I like old Nickelback. Now, after like 2007, I don't think I've checked out anything they've done because I don't care. But I like their old stuff.
Good old Nickelback. Nickelback.
Boy, that is probably the band that is more trashed by metalheads than any other band.
Yeah.
You are correct, sir.
I hear about Nickelback these days, it's always with some severe negativity. No,
Other than Chad Kroeger is a bona fide fucking asshole on multiple levels. Picked a fight with Slipknot's frontman. It's almost as bad as that fucking guy from The Voice. What the hell was his name? I hate him so bad I can't even think of his fucking name. Adam Levine, who says hot chicks don't listen to metal.
Right.
It's like if it's on, I just tune it out. That kind of thing. Not something I can rock out to okay, to be perfectly quite honest. What was that song that him and the lead singer of one of the other, not Chevelle, my son used to love these guys a lot. Another band like them at the time, they did a duet.
Creed, Deftones.
No, it was a Spider-Man. Hero, I think was the name of the song.
Old. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It was a soundtrack song.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind that.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good song.
It was pretty well done. But their stuff standalone, when you're on a download festival and the only way you can get the crowd to like you is to play a Metallica cover.
Was that the band you're looking for, Reaper? Saliva?
Saliva. That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. That track was pretty good, but man, when you're getting stoned, and I mean literally, not smoking the funny stuff, I'm talking about literally having rocks thrown at you in South America. That tells you fucking suck. I'm sorry. Go on YouTube, check it out. And he starts fucking like abusing the crowd on the mic. Didn't you guys pay to come see some good fucking rock and roll? And they're just fucking throwing rocks at him. I was dying. Nothing against that. You're allowed to like them. I just
Well, that's kind of like me
with them. I never could.
That's like me at an Evanescence song or a concert.
Oh, how dare you? Oh.
Genghis says blasphemy.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to them all afternoon today, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
All right.
I don't know how you're going to follow that, but you're up, Reaper.
Yeah, you really got us. You inspired some conversation there, Genghis.
I did.
Right.
Well, let me see here. I am not known to many people as liking country. There's some country I can get with because maybe it makes me laugh or I can make fun of it a lot. But there is one guy that I like other than Johnny Cash. Everything that Johnny Cash has ever done, in my opinion, has been bad fucking ass. I will say that till I'm blue in the fucking face.
For sure.
But there is one guy that stands out above all others because he is an artist that can literally transcend genres. And I have the utmost respect for this guy. And yes, he comes from a super country superstar lineage. And most people would not realize that he has put out some of the most iconic, amazing doom metal albums. I'm talking about Hank 3.
Who?
He's known to the world as Hank 3, but he's Hank Williams Jr. the third.
Ah.
So he goes by Hank Williams 3, or Hank 3, sorry. He literally does a concert that is traditional country, then moves to like some punky kind of stuff, and then the last set is doom metal.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre, and his doom shit is amazeballs. Wow. Now, consequently, he was also the bassist for one of Phil Anselmo's bands known as Super Joint Fucking Ritual for a very long time, which was like a black metal, death metal / punk band after he took a break from Down for a little bit in the early 2000s, I want to say, maybe early mid, kind of like around there. Hank 3 can do it all, man. His country shit is fantastic. Like, I can get with it. It's dark. It's not happy, but it's catchy. You know what I mean? But his doom shit, there's a song he does called The Demon's Mark that is on my shop playlist, and I listen to it every fucking day because it's so fucking good. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the name of the fucking record. It's killing me right now. But it's an album cover that has like all this like alcohol bottles, drug needles, and everything else. Man, that whole record is just doom perfection.
Damn, I'd go see that. I'm going to have to check that out. I would offer you Sturgill Simpson. That's one of the ones I left off, but Sturgill Simpson's a contemporary country music singer, and he's great. I can only stand Willie Nelson and Sturgill Simpson right now.
I feel that. I mean, you know, country has gone. I mean, they're kind of known as like the great American ballad singers.
Yeah.
Kind of like everything is like some kind of a love song that just, you know, is played at weddings, shit like that. And then there's the ones that are kind of like, you know, down home, love me a country gal kind of thing. And it's like, you know, she thinks my tractor's sexy and stuff like that. And that's all fine, well and good.
My tractor's sexy.
Exactly. You know, it's not like Billy Ray fucking Cyrus from back in the day. Go fuck yourself. You know, that we had to listen to because it was all over the fucking radio at the time. It was God's awful. Now, today, my country has to be dark. It has to be sinister. So, Hank 3 delivers.
Okay, I'll have to check
All
that.
right.
All right.
And actually, his siblings, Hank 4, and there's 2 of them. I know. Go figure. One's a punk artist, and the other one is like, I'm going to kick you in the fucking balls with my country. I'm dead serious. You can check those guys out too. It's like all the siblings that have come from this guy, because apparently he was all about spreading the genetics. You know what I'm saying? And all of his offspring, is just like demented, and I fucking love it. So.
All right. Well, my next band is a band that came out of the 90s. They got pretty popular, and then they just fizzled out. Their last album they put out was like 2010, 2011, and it wasn't quite as good as their predecessors. But I've seen them a couple times. Very cynical, but they use a trumpet quite a bit. Pretty
Well, that's
cool.
always fun.
But they're kind of like folk rock in a way, but very cynical, very clever. They even have songs about Satan. And they are Cake. And my favorite album out of their whole discography is Comfort Eagle. It really makes fun of rich people and the pompous asses that they can be. But man, they have sheep go to heaven, goats go to hell. Fun. They play that song every show that they have. Like the first 5 albums were outstanding from front to back, every single song, and they're hilarious too. Really funny. So yeah, Cake. If you haven't heard of them before, give them a listen. Really.
Oh, most def I have. I mean, obviously the first time I ever came on to them was like from their singles, but man, they did a song on the soundtrack for American Werewolf in Paris. Fucking hilarious. Absolutely loved it. It's like this, it almost sounded like, old school, like fucking, 70s porn music. With like that smooth voice, but everything they're saying is fucking hilarious. I don't know. That's the only way I can really describe them. It's not something I, obviously listen to on the regular, but I've always appreciated the shit that they do. So that's a good choice, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right. So
what's he gonna say next? You say the fucking Backstreet Boys. I'm gonna fucking come through.
I thought, okay, so I thought about them. I thought about putting in Sting. But I decided this is my biggest sin. And this is more for sentimental reasons. I listened to this with my grandmother a lot, especially as like Christmas album with the Muppets. I'm putting John fucking Denver down.
All right, you're awesome. I have a lot of good memories growing up in the 70s that my parents played John Denver all the fucking time. And every now and then I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. We got to drive up to the mountains. And whenever John Denver came on when we were driving through the mountains, that was just heaven. Almost heaven.
What's that damn song? She plugs up my senses or something like that. Or what's that damn song? You know the one.
You fill up my senses.
Fill up my senses. Yeah. Holy fucking shit. I laugh every fucking time I ever. Okay. So obviously I'm from the era in, Hoof Beast there, where there would be these commercials of these compilation, albums. And they would get to that fucking song, and I would literally throw a fork at the TV.
I have a comment. I have a comment from the peanut gallery here. My mom just texted me saying, "Ugh, your mama raised you better than that."
I mean, if his album was called "Songs to Kill You By," it would be great. I don't know. I can appreciate it. That's fine. That's cool. I don't know, man. That was one I just could not get with. No matter what just about as good as I could stomach fucking Kenny fucking Rogers. You know what I mean? I just couldn't get with it. I don't know. But I can appreciate it. I mean, the man's work is the man's work. But I would have to say, for me, I don't know if it's really my most sinful choice, really, because it's someone of today.
Okay.
That I don't know. Not only does the content of what they sing about, but they play a style of music that, again, childhood, driving on a Saturday afternoon, the oldie station is on, and there's like all this kind of doo-wop going on. And I used to love a lot of the Shondells, the Shy Lights, all those great fucking like 50s style, groups of like 4 or 5 more singers. Shit was great. But this particular band kind of brought it all back to me, and in a more satanic way. So I would have to say my guiltiest pleasure currently is Twin Temple.
There's nothing to be guilty about there, brother.
I know, but a lot of folks kind of look at that kind of music as not.
That is true. I remember
something they could get with if it's not heavy, that is true. When it's not electric.
Yeah, when they toured with Ghost and Volbeat earlier this year, I saw a lot of people in both Ghost and Volbeat groups bitching about them.
Exactly. But they are satanic perfection. But they are done in a style that is so eclectic from 50 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, almost like a lost art, but man, can she sing.
Absolutely.
And it's delivered with all the fixins. You got the classic doo-wop guitar, very bluesy, very clean. And it's all about the praising of Satan. And I absolutely fucking love it.
Who are they again?
Twin Temple.
Twin Temple. Okay, I have to check it out.
Definitely.
Who actually just did a tour with one of my other guilty pleasures, which is an honorable mention, the Bridge City Sinners, which is a punk / bluegrass band with yet another female lead singer who also plays the ukulele and fucking tears it up. Just old school style, evil as hell. Something you'd probably hear in a, like, I don't know, Satan's like Hellfire Club or whatever the fuck you would call it. Like you'd be going down there for beers after work and it's just like, just barn stomping, but it's all about, the devil. Oh. I think you would dig it, Hoof Beast. I think you truly would. Check it out.
Yeah, I will for sure. Okay, so we're up to my last one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a band that I saw when I lived in Thailand, and they sucked.
Great preface, man. Preface of the night.
They only played one song from their first 3 albums, and only their first 3 albums are really good. And after that, they have shit the bed and painted the walls with it.
Are they
So-
monkeys?
I'm going to give you a little bit more, and then I want you guys to try to guess.
Okay.
It would have been around 2000 is when the first album came out, and it's named for a color. And they did 3 albums. The third album came out in 2005, right before my daughter was born. And then after that, they lost the guitars, they lost the instrumentation, and they went full on pop. And now they play big stadiums and sell them out.
Oh, shit.
Oh, crap.
It's got to be one of those metalcore bands that traded in their metal stripes for pop. God damn it. You might know better than I, though, Genghis. Like, name-wise? It's not helping me.
Coldplay.
Yes. Yes.
Coldplay. This is a band that my wife has green eyes, and so they have a song called Green Eyes on Rush of Blood to the Head. But their albums are outstanding, very artistic, a bit dark and a bit slowed down a lot of the time. And then I don't know what the hell happened. They just went in a pop direction and they fucking suck somebody else's ass now.
Whole lot of cheese. There has been so many articles about the lead singer of that band, like he is just a dictator. So full of himself, and I think that's what led to what we now know as Coldplay.
One of the worst shows I've ever seen. And another one of my honorable mentions that I really like a lot is the band Interpol.
Oh.
Saw them live. That was probably the worst show I've ever seen. They just played the album just like the album. They were so boring. They didn't move. They didn't engage the crowd at all. Maybe Coldplay might have been worse, though.
Wow.
I like counting the minutes and being disappointed. Coldplay I knew was going to disappoint me. Interpol I didn't know was going to
For sure. So one of my honorable mentions, and as far as I know, they're still going. Last I heard. This one's actually from, I think I want to say the mid or late 90s, possibly, is a metal band known as Jackal, who made famous for using a chainsaw as kind of like an instrument during a song called The Lumberjack. I don't know. There was just something kind of like dirty Southern blues metal about them that I just really dug. I don't know. I still get down to that song every once in a while. It's fun.
One of the honorable mentions I had was Carlos Santana.
There ain't nothing guilty about that at all.
Yeah.
Black Magic Woman was the first song I have ever heard from Santana. And I still rock that shit to this day.
Absolutely.
The drumming backup, all of the conga players, which has now spawned 3 generations in that band. They are conga masters.
Yeah, I couldn't list the Police. I like them a lot. Have all albums. Midnight Oil, I have all of their albums.
Ooh,
Really like Midnight Oil a lot. And not
they
just
were
like
so aggressive.
Beds Are Burning that's not even close to any of my favorite songs of theirs. But I really like Midnight Oil a lot. And Tribe Called Quest, and then Missing Persons. Love
Oh shit!
Missing.
Hell yeah!
That's
Absolutely.
good guitarist and really good drummer for that band.
Most definitely.
All right.
I'm so eclectic. My list would literally spawn volumes.
Same.
It's anything from like the Culture Club to Wardruna and all of the great pagan artists that there
Yeah.
are, bringing back a lot of the indigenous types of folk music from country to country. I love them all. Fawn is one of my big ones.
Absolutely.
Lorena McKennett, an Irish singer who just fucking melt the heart right out of you. To African drumming tribes. I love it all.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm very eclectic.
Same. I like that stuff. I like some like American folk music a little bit. Certain bands. I like Native American drumming and flute music. Also quite a lot eclectic.
I play the pan flute.
Hannah Hill Weavers, I like a lot. Alton, Trampled by Turtles is another one. That's an American bluegrass. Really good.
That's a cool band name.
Yeah. They're real good. They put out a more commercial album like around 2013 or 14 that I did not like at all. They got away from their bluegrass and they were so earthy and a really honest band. When I came out, I haven't heard anything since. I don't know if they've gone back, but I kept my first 5 albums of theirs.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well,
I mean,
folks.
just a wealth of different bands spanning 50 years of all different types of music, and most of the stuff we've mentioned just ourselves have influenced so much of music today.
For sure.
And that's just kind of like skimming the surface. There's so much more out there, and we always encourage y'all to listen to anything that moves you. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to look backwards either. Look back into music's past. It's very rich, and you'd be surprised. You just might like it.
For sure.
Thank you all for joining us tonight out there in Three Witches Land. It was so cool to hear some of your guilty pleasures as well. It's been a blast, and definitely tune in next Saturday for our next interesting topic of the day.
Yeah.
And don't forget, tune in tomorrow for the Kitchen Witchin' Hour, as we have a new day this time around since I took my birthday night off. But always, stay heavy.